And welcome to the show, Bass and Bonsai. We are back in the house, fresh from Rogers Sporting Goods. We ran by there after we got off work, so we're going to look at what we got from there. But as you can tell, I haven't done much from the last live stream I did. I did manage to put together a few things. We're going to show you that real quick, and then we're going to look at what we unboxed and talk about a few other things. But right off the bat, if you remember, I bought that huge honking couple 10-aught hooks, so I just got it rigged up in this so I can like have it rigged up, ready to go. And now that may not work at all, but we're going to go with it. I should have probably got 8-aught will be what'll work, but I just got it rigged up. Throw that out, just be the plan is just be dragging this along the bottom. So hopefully the big old bass that may hit this won't even see that down there dragging on bottom. They'll just see, it looks like a big fish kind of swimming, dragging bottom. So I'll try it, and I'll probably order some 8-aught hooks. And I just got those. If you remember right, these are also from AliExpress for, I want to say $2.50 or like they're, I don't know. There's probably $3 or $4 sitting there right now, but not crazy expensive in the swim bait world. And that's a pretty big bait. So when I last left you guys, I was talking about ways to get these chatterbaits weedless. So right, we can rig up. I've kind of got what. Just show you a little bit my idea of like, so black and blue, and that's a Riot Baits Little Fuzzy. Just rigged up Texas style to where I can run that around some wood or whatever. We'll have to worry. The main issue will be our hookup ratio, even if it does get through wood kind of thing, and how well it just gets bit. So I got one of those, I was playing around with it. We did manage, if you guys remember right, we got our little what looks like our, buddy Nilby, but that isn't it. I tricked you guys. So there's our little buddy. We lost him, but we made another one just like him, and then we made another one just like him. So we're cloning Neo the Nobi, and we've got two identical ones that we're catching them, tearing them up, and then I lost it like a dummy. But then I kind of got this weedless version rigged up that is pretty close. I didn't use the Dirty Jigs one. Here's the Dirty Jigs one. This is actually one from Boss. Same. It all should be about the same, right? So I'm gonna figure out what exact. I'm playing with trailers along the way. But then, if you remember, I bought the blades that you add to jigs, right? So here's a couple of those rigged up. So I did switch out the snaps they came with. They're the size I use like for my, 10-pound test, and I could probably go to 15 if I really had to. But these are the biggest snaps I use for like up to like 20-pound. I'll be honest, I even use it on my swim baits. But it's pretty big snap. So I upgraded to that, and then I clamped them on. And so I'm just going to show you guys that's what the finished product looked like. And this is pretty much exactly, if you go to Tackle Warehouse, what Queen Tackle have on their chatterbaits, and they sell these separately, but they're like 3 for $10 or something. I bought, if you guys remember right, a 20-pack. Comes with snaps, which you can use or change out, and then the little clippy thing here. 20-pack for like under $8, like $7.85 or something like that. So I rigged it up on these, and these are, I believe, the Divine 6 cents knockoffs you can get from their Lure Holic on AliExpress. The only issue that we might have, well, first of all, it may still get hung up on brush, is if this hook is far enough back. So like say if it, fish eats it, and getting this open, it's now got to get past this, it's got to get past the weed guard and get him hooked, right? So hookup ratio may be a problem. So what I've also went ahead and done, we've got an added fact that it's a jig with the weed guard, but then I also, and it does have a flat head, but also to help me out through the wood, I'm going to try the trailers that are flat, more like a crawl profile. So when I'm dragging it up and across the wood, it hopefully is less likely to flip in the first place. But then if it does, between the extra added, this is sticking out, and that is enough to keep it completely woodless. I don't care about weedless. I'm not going to really be throwing these anywhere, probably around weeds. I'm going to be throwing these around wood. I want something in a chatterbait that works just like my square bills, ATVs. So that's one there. I rigged up another one here, and that's the rodent from Strike King. Same kind of idea. You know, a little different color. That's my favorite color in the soft plastic in the rodent. That's why I tried it. And then that's that new color for me anyway. New color from I believe that's Big Bite Baits. I'm not sure. It's still kind of goldy. So I'm imitating crawdad bluegill. You guys know the deal. You guys have heard of it. So I got those two rigged up. Same deal. It's easy to do. Once I figured it out, if you guys watched the first live stream, I kind of struggled. It's actually real simple, and you clamp these with your pliers. So all you really need is some type of pliers, and it's real easy. And you can, and even if you wanted to add these, because here's another thing, you can add these to. So say if you're kind of like me, and you like the idea of putting gold blades on, different chatterbaits don't necessarily come with gold blades on them. A couple options. So, and I need to double check, but I want to say they make not the cross-eye flipping jig, but the cross-eye swim jig. I think you can add these to it, and you would still be cheaper than buying the true cross-eye chatterbait from Z-Man. But then the other bait that I saw that I'm like, man, these would be perfect for. You can go to AliExpress, get a 20-pack. Picasso makes their actual, what they use for their chatterbaits in just a jig. They call it a swim jig, but it's basically their chatterbait without the little, they have to use the snap swivel with their blades because they don't want to mess with the infringement of the patent and all that. And so anyway, you could buy those at like $5 and something. These add up to less than $1. So you'd be, still $5 or $6 if you like the some of the, oh shoot, not Picasso. Is it Picasso? Oh shoot, I can't remember the exact name. I think it's either Picasso or Phoenix. I think maybe it's Phoenix. I think the Phoenix. They call it the Phoenix. It's a swim jig, but it's basically, and it says right on it that it's their chatterbait minus the blade. So anyway, those are options there. And we were looking through all kinds of different, I didn't want to use a smaller, so I would want to use a full-on, like a size of a sweet beaver when I'm trying this, rather than a smally beaver or these smaller craw type deals, because I want that wideness, right? I want that to help me through. That's the initial thoughts, and we're going to try them, see what they do. So I didn't go any further with this dude, but I'll tell you what I did before we go to the Rogers unboxing. So I've stayed away from a lot of chatterbaits, the knockoffs off, and the AliExpress has a bunch of different chatterbaits, right? So of different styles. So what I did was, since I think it was Lee Livesey or whatever had that crazy pink deal going on, and I'd ordered these before that. But what I did in honor of that he did so good with the pink, and they had that specific spunk shad made for him, whatever. I went on AliExpress because I've also been debating about trying. There's a few other new styles of chatterbaits I wanted to try. Every chatterbait that I came across on AliExpress that you could get in the lighter pink. So I think there's 5 or 6 different, like one of them is just like this. If you guys remember right, I bought them before just to use the gold blade when they were cheap. They were as cheap as $1.50 each. They're $2.50 now. So I think for $13, I've got 5 or 6, I don't want to say 6 different chatterbaits. A couple of them are smaller, more finessey, various different styles with some kind of that lighter pink, not necessarily this dark pink, but they're like pink and white mainly. Coming. One of them is kind of like the Guggen style. It's got the chatterbait up on more of like a shaft, kind of like somebody cut down a spinnerbait. One like that. One like we've had before where the blades actually slide off. If you guys remember, I had those. They were in a Bass Bonsai video a couple years back, just like what these were. I think around the same time I bought all those. But anyway, those, they were ordered last night or whenever, so a couple weeks. You'll probably forget about them like I will, and we'll be unboxing them. But anyway, let's go with what I got from AliExpress. I got AliExpress on the brain. Let's just go with what I've been talking about forever. And in honor, oh, this one's already fallen out of the package. in honor of the fact that one of the only baits, and that video will be coming out either tomorrow morning or Friday morning. It's tagged on at the end of the video with the Mini Max versus the Mini Max Evos and all that. I only caught one bass in the afternoon, and it was on my hard knocker, not a one knocker, but 3/4 ounce Toledo Gold. So in honor of that, when I was up at Rogers, these were on sale for like $3.50, and I had to buy them. They're falling out of the packages. They got this one stapled up. They've been up at Rogers so long, I think they've actually faded a hint in the color. I think that belly color is a little lighter on this side than it is on this side. But that, even in a one knocker, is still probably my baited choice over any other rattle trap. And I know I like this color and the oranges I talk about in the spring, but honestly, this color, which has never really had orange, it's more of like the red with the brownish yellow belly. This color just works year round. It's just that Toledo Gold color. Booyah, that, and I always use I've told this story, I don't know how many times. I've always for years used half ounce. I lost my last one, went up to Rogers, and all they had were 3/4 ounce. So just out of well, I'll buy it until my order comes from Tackle Warehouse so I can have one to fish. And man, that 3/4 ounce, maybe the fact that everywhere I've went, I've only thrown half. When I started throwing 3/4 ounce, it was like a whole different, and it always worked good with 4.5 ounce, but 3/4 is like a game changer. I think I kind of started catching a bigger overall class of fish with the 3/4. So I try to throw 3/4 when I can, a little bit bigger bait in a rattle trap nowadays over a half. I'll still go down to a half, like if I feel I need to, they're just a little more spooked than normal kind of thing. So I also switched out. I was sitting here staring at it. So there's the one we just got. I switched, put one of their skirts on one that was previously from them, so I'd have two kind of alike. But then I was going to switch out the last one to the one, if you guys remember right, that's the original one I bought from Omega Custom Tackle, and I repainted it. But you can kind of see it still has the similar color. But I totally destroyed that bait, the skirt, the paint. It's got a little hint of there. So I just kind of threw some color on it to hide the lead. But I left that. That is the Hollywood Craw. So we've kind of got three options in Omega Custom Tackle. This one doesn't have gold blade. So I figured we can also play around with that at some point if the gold blade matters or not. And of course, I've still always got the black and blue one. But anyway, we got all the, that's not even on top of all our bluegill stuff. So, if you guys remember right, I talked about these, and I think I've got another one laying around somewhere, but I cut these to make it look like a craw instead. So I went finally and made that purchase. So let's get to that. Get the other stuff. So I finally ran up to Rogers Sporting Goods and picked up the ones I've been talking about forever. So I bought the orange, this color, in the Bomber Cross. So I've got to cut these down, and I'll show you just one. And then I did buy a few other things too. So there's what it comes like. I don't know what this is extra thing for, and it says right on it Rogers. But once you cut it, and I would show you, but I don't know. I guess I'm in a hurry because I got to get something to eat. But once you cut it and you make it look like a cross, I feel it is a way better. And I may leave some alone, but I'm going to cut me probably, I don't know, half a dozen or so down of each color that I bought, because I picked up this color, and I also picked up mainly for chatterbait trailers, this color and then this color. But you can also use them on just regular jigs or whatever. So I picked those up, and I think that's the only color though. But then, while I was up there, I got one pack of the green, and I did pick up 2 packs of these. So I thought I was calling it a 20 pack. It's actually 24 Terror Craws in the Bomber Crawl color for not $5.99, $3. That X on their stuff over in the half price deal. So that is just cheap. And if you remember right, we were out catching fish using those as a trailer, not that orange color. So then I figured, and they do have others. I may pick up more. Who knows? Every time I go up there, I might buy a couple packs and put up, kind of thing. I mean, it's just cheap. You guys ever just buy that soft plastic because it's hang on, I'm gonna look through here. Because it's cheap. Anyway, so then just because and they have several colors, but this I like this color too. They're just kind of a sweet beaver imitation there. Torture creature bait. I bought 2 packs of those. And they're also, I believe, I didn't see where it says, but I think they're like 20 or 24 also for $3. And then, of course, you can't go wrong with, well, I call it sprayed grass. They're calling it green pumpkin, purple watermelon candy or whatever, but it's kind of like what I like, sprayed grass. So I got those. It was like $18 and bunch of soft plastics. I mean a bunch. Like I got no room for all this crap now. So we were already overloaded with our tackle boxes before all that. Now we're like it's sickening at the moment. So then we're going to get to the other stuff I bought. I just could not pass up again, even though I bought one that I hardly ever fish. If you guys remember right, and I've already switched it around. I need to change that. I don't even like these. That ain't it. Where's it at? Here it is. You can't miss them. So if you remember right, I bought this dude and I painted him up and changed the skirt. But that is a 5/8 ounce Thunder Cricket brand. I don't even know if I've cast this thing yet. Throwing it out. It's $5. So then they didn't have. I didn't see this one up there then. But they had another one, 5/8 gold blade, in just a, I don't know, are they actually calling that? Yeah, they call it green pumpkin. Green pumpkins, from some people, are different to other people. I call that brown pumpkin. Like the green is gone. You know what I mean? I call that just like a pumpkin. I don't call that green pumpkin, but I guess some people do. But anyway, that skirt will probably not last. I may try to leave it long enough to just try it, but I figure that is a perfect, you guys know what that is. That is a perfect head for, you guessed it, a bluegill. So anyway, I mean, for $5, even though I can get the knockoffs for whatever, you know, $2.50. I mean, it's a true. At some point, I'll do a little shootout between probably those 5/8 and a couple of my 1/2 ounce, and then I've also got the 5/8 Z-Man Custom. So the last 2 things I bought. Now the one, it was just kind of like I might as well get it and try it. And I almost bought a few different ones of these, but I figure I'll try one first because I don't know how well if they're the same. So Rick Clunn and the Trickster. So I'm going to give you the brief history in case you guys don't know. A lot of you probably know. I know you know who Rick Clunn is. But it was like 2016 or 17. He won the Bassmaster Classic, and he caught, like they call him the twin 9-pounder. He caught like 2 9-pound bass, and one of them was on basically Lucky Strike Trickster. I believe, not this color. I almost bought that color. I probably will. I just wanted to try one out. But anyway, on that spinnerbait, 3/4 ounce, I believe. But since then, and he says that, like originally that Lucky Strike was doing right. They've since sold the company, if you guys didn't know all that or whatever. But anyway, supposedly the guy that he first got in cahoots with and made up some of the baits for Rick Clunn through Lucky Strike, that guy now is what, from my understanding, it's going on hearing Rick Clunn talk about it, is has something to do with Headhunter now. But I know, and they're probably going to say made in China somewhere on everything you get, but Maybe not these, but I think this one does. And I'm not going to give it away what it is now. Yeah, this one made in China. But anyway, the trickster is in kind of thing, a couple things. If the blade is supposedly supposed to give off like a, the thump to make them think it's a bigger fish, but then they hide some of the weight down in there so it doesn't have as big a head. You know what I mean? Some baits, like you're getting ready to see, when you get even a 3/8, a half, or whatever, they just get a bigger head on them. This is a half ounce. And I'm kind of finding I think I like my chatterbaits 3/8 because they jump around more. Now sometimes half. I have several half. But spinnerbaits, I think I like them to start on average around a half ounce, especially when I get into the Indiana blades, because they're a little bit bigger, and if you're dealing with Colorado, they got a little more drag to them. So if you get into those in 3/8, or especially the littler finessey 1/4 ounces, they're real good in very shallow water, but it's hard to you can slow roll them, but they still don't get down that good. So I might even get a couple in 3/4 ounce, but I got one to try. I know it's a long-winded story just to tell you that trickster spinnerbait. I think I bought these back when they were Lucky Strike, way back probably whenever they first come out, and he won the classic and all that. They were kind of a popular thing, and they've since kind of faded away to a certain extent. But I figured they're like kind of fresh and new again in the last year or two since they're through Headhunter. And Headhunter, they make those firetail basically wiggle wart knockoffs or rock crawler cross knockoffs, whatever. But then this one also caught my eye, the Nasty. So I'm gonna open that other one up too. But the Nasty here, this is a half ounce. They make in 3/8 or 3/4. It got a big old head. But here's what's kind of cool about the Nasty: the fact that I like these thumping blades. So I got a half. And I just got one of each one of these. If I feel like I like the thumping feel, but I want to go, up to even a heavier one, then I will. But the thing about the Nasty is, I don't know, you guys maybe have seen it before, but these blades are actually like a half and half. They've got, I think they're just a silver blade that has a little bit, instead of a chrome coating, it's kind of a goldish coating. So they're like half and half blades. So instead of having like one, gold blade here or here, and then silver the other one, they're like each going to give off a little different thing. So I thought that was kind of cool. And, why not try it? If they're Headhunters putting these out, the tricksters, let's just try this. And this is also, if you guys haven't noticed by now, it's like my favorite white color is why I spotted this. I'm like, I need to try that. And I cannot seem to find one of my chatterbaits right at the moment that has that. Where did I have my chatterbaits? Oh my God. Here, I buried them with this. So if you guys know, I like the spot remover. It's like my favorite white version of a chatterbait. I don't know if you can make it out or not, but that is almost the identical skirt coloring. There's a lot of it in this one. But so yeah. Now maybe I would like it better if it had a silver head or whatever, but who knows. But so that's why I got that one. I'll try it out. Depending on the overall feel or whatever, and maybe hookup ratio. It does have a standard, what is standard nowadays. A lot of them come with this little thing for your, probably will definitely put one of those, basically one of these, but in the smaller version, the 3 or 3.5, whatever size they are that I got, the biggest one that they make, and before they make that size, on as a trailer, and just go with it. So it should be a good working spinnerbait. I don't see any reason why it won't work. It depends on how that hovering action in a half ounce over, if I might want to go 3/4, if I need to move it a little faster on any given time. So I might end up picking up maybe a couple more in half, or maybe just start picking some up 3/4. Same thing with this one. I'll just have to get them out and try them. I would buy a couple size options. Those SV3 knockoffs, I love them, but that's it. Whatever size, and I think they're roughly half ounce. That's just what you get. That's the only ones they make, and they're only like $2.50. So why am I spending $6 or $7 on spinnerbaits? Because you can never have too many styles if one thumps real good and works real good. What's funny is the whole time I was watching the video, Rick Clunn was talking about this bait. It was like spread way out. He was holding one up, and it was, I don't know if he just caught a fish. I don't know what was going on, but it was spread like way out here. They all come in the package like very low profile, to where literally it looks like if the fish eats it, he's going to eat all of it. He's going to eat the blades and all, which we're going to try it just like the way it comes out of the package and see what happens. But I guess you could say that I'm kind of excited for these because I've never thrown a headhunter spinnerbait. I believe I've thrown this pretty much. It should be the same feel. And you know what I'm saying? Just to get them on the water, see what they do, see how they're going to catch fish or not catch fish. Same thing with these. So I've got some like new to me, you know, actions are going to be taking place when I get out there and fish. And then same thing with those. So we got some new little deals going on. And then we got, of course, our old standbys that we know 100% are going to catch us fish. I want to show you guys, if you guys remember right, in that last video, I was being a little, you know, over anal about putting this on. And this one, I probably need to take it off and put it on again. It didn't come out right. I'm just going to show you. This one has more blue around it. And I know it's probably matters none whatsoever. This one though, it all kind of, I don't know. I guess it has a little bit. I should probably leave it alone. But I feel I perfected it with this dude. So what I'll probably do, I still haven't decided yet because I took it out and I was catching so many fish with it just like this, right? It didn't need all that fancy hand-tied skirt. It was whacking them just sliding it on and started whacking fish. Now I had a little sneaky snake on there, my little orange and brown zinkers on there to help it out a little bit. And they're definitely in a kind of orange mood. But it's like, if you can just slap it on and it's a huge fish catcher just like that, why go through the hassle of tying the skirt on? That should hold just fine. But you never know. If I get bored, I may tie some on. But I may not either. So anyway, that's it. Unboxing, talked about the different baits. Did we want to take one of these out just, I guess, just to show you what these look like in case you're curious. Now, Rogers, you can call Rogers. You can buy them out, whatever they got left. I'm telling you guys right now that if they get on like a... Now, this isn't going to work exactly like a Sweet Beaver because I think that these little things should have some sort of action to them. A Sweet Beaver is just, you guys know what I'm talking about. They're just smooth. They don't have these. These kind of work like the Yum appendages, I believe. They got that little thickness and the ribbing in them. So they're going to, should have a touch of a flappy to them and should have somewhat of a presence more so than a Sweet Beaver. But I know it's definitely a more gaudy looking one. But I mean, I'll be honest, there's a lot of times when you get on a bite, these working like Texas rigged, they're basically hitting anything that resembles a crawdad. And if you get similar close to the color, that'll fire them up kind of thing. This color just always works. Every soft plastic I've ever had in this color will catch fish, from the Keytech Crazy Flappers to, what's it called, Dirty Sanchez, maybe in the Sweet Beavers. Like that color works. They call it green pumpkin chartreuse pepper, but it's basically, I think, a summer craw is what they call that. And man, those things stink. Whew. They got a stink to them. I don't know, do these stink? I don't think these have a scent. Those there definitely have a scent to them. Let me see, does it say? Yeah, new unhinged. Huh. Wait a minute. Let me read it. You guys know me. Well, they both say they got it, but this one. So they both say they got lure Specific salt impregnation, new unhinged scent formula, colors tailored towards lure application. Duh. Okay, they both say the same exact thing on the back. I think the packages are, well, one has, no, that's a sticker. So they're all identical packages. But let me open this package and smell it. You guys smell it. Here, smell that. Did you guys smell? Ooh, that thing stinks. Like that's a definite fishy smell. I don't think I got that with these. That's the first pack of those I bought from Rogers. This doesn't. These don't have, I mean, maybe a hint, but nothing like those over there. And I couldn't tell you that there's, like, I've cut these, I don't know how many times, I've never seen salt. Let me taste one. Nope. That has not got any salt on it. Let me just show you. Let me just show you, because here, let me just show you how it, well, I guess how simple it is if you have scissors. Like all I do, now you could leave this, it depends on how long, what you're putting this on. So if you've got something with a real long shank, like say if you want to put one of these on, oh shoot, I don't have one on hand. I do, but I have to dig it out. So if you want to put one of these on, say, your big blade, is this a big blade? No, that's a, I mean, you could leave the whole thing on if you want it to extend out further, you know, just give you more on there to help keep it on. But me, I shorten them up. And so, especially on the 3/8 ounce, these knockoffs, let me see if I can find my big, I just took myself. You guys didn't see that, did you? I got a mess. Every time I do a live stream, I make a huge mess. Okay, so here's an example. So that is the big blade. Now I almost bought one of these in their the bluegill color in each of their sizes, just so I can try it, because I think the 1/2 ounce may, although I love it when it hovers up there just right, but I think there's times that the bigger either the 5/8 or even the 3/4 maybe still do jumping around, because that huge blade, I was trying to hold it up. You know, I was up there at Rogers, you know me, I'm doing experimenting like all the time. So I was up there at Rogers holding that up, and I was holding it next to basically a 1/2 ounce jackhammer, which we have right here. Oh my God. It doesn't look like it anymore because it's got a different skirt put on and a painted head. But I was trying to hold that up, you know, the size and the weight, and I'm like, it definitely, and into like our 3/8 ounce, right? So then our like new dude here. And so I think the 1/2 ounce, that blade is so big, I think 1/2 ounce is probably more like if you had a 1/4 ounce on these regular blades. So I probably, the action this is putting off, this my favorite of all the actions you can get out of chatterbait is a 3/8 ounce, whether it be a jackhammer or these knockoffs, with do I have one of those laying around? With the Baby Rage Menace. That's my favorite, just the way they jump around. The Baby Rage Menace on this only ran up to right where the lead starts. So just enough to get it, the nose of it hooked on to the keepers right there, and it just lets it just darts and it does its thing. You don't have to do any extra kind of work. Once you just do the little reel, twitch it, and it does its darty. The best I've seen any of them do. Even over, and it's got that extra little movement when you're not doing that. So it's not just like a pintail. Of course, a pintail or just a little short worm, you know, the zinkers and all that. But I'm talking about a kind of a true profile bait on the back is that. This does it with the Rage Menace, but I think it still hovers so high. Like I think I can get it to go down lower in the water column and still will have that hunting darting thing with the next heavier head size, but they're $10 each. So I'd had to spend $20 to get one of each of the other weights, and then just try it and be like, maybe I'll be let down or not. So I was like, yeah, that's for another day. I got enough stuff going on. But what I do with these, oh wait, I didn't even show you what I was talking about. So on the actual, you know, big blade, you may want to leave that, like I talked about, so you got enough of the they're holding on, and then it would give you that bigger profile. So I'm telling you, whatever they got left, they got these in several different colors. Well, I've got 3 colors now. They've got like a hematoma looking one. One has more blue. They got black and blue. They got June bug. Maybe one or like a reddish, kind of like a watermelon, pumpkin red kind of deal going on. Several colors, but these, when they're that cheap, a 24 pack for $3. I mean, dude, why haven't I bought them before? Anyway, what I do to fit them on, that's just way too much. Like, let's use our little dude right here. This probably catch fish. I could probably go out there and catch fish. I could probably rig it on just the way it is and probably go catch fish. But I'll do it 2 ways. I may just cut, if I need a little length, but I don't want that big bulbous looking thing on, I just kind of cut it up there. And then I have that extra little bit that kind of works like a aerodynamic, right? It lets it not have anything, it just transitions into that. So then I'll cut that down to like how I like to fish them. But then you can also just cut, and that's why I started doing a lot of them, is just cut that part off right there. And then you just have this little dude, and I guess while I'm in the middle of cutting, let me get these little junk out. The maid has too much to do already. So all I do, I'll try to show you. Where's the other one? And then I'm going to get out of here. So just to make it look like that is a pretty simple process. And if you goof a little bit, it looks a little wanky. And you could try them just like this. But I think that I take them right past, like right where this starts, the flap, spreads out, is you want to kind of come, and you're going to want to go up like this. So you're kind of making a diamond cut into the whole thing. I'll try to show you guys how I do it. Now I'm doing it on camera, so it's going to look weird. So I just cut down, and then somewhere in here, I kind of cut back into it. And you can always angle it a little different and change it up. And like I've said, it does not have to be anywhere near perfect. You're just taking out some of the material that's going to let these, first of all, look more like a claw than just something back there flapping. But then it's also going to take away a little bit of the weight and resistance that's going through the water. So my main goal is try to get something that kind of lets them jump around like what the... So something like that there, and you can take your time, or you can just do it real, fast. And then you want to kind of come in here to make that like a point, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And actually, what I'm using, these scissors, I don't recommend. I recommend using the, like if you've got scissors that are serrated for like your braid, because they kind of don't let the plastic slide around as you're cutting it. But you kind of just cutting like a whoop out of here. Even though these are curved, if these were serrated with the curve, they'd be perfect, but they kind of can let the plastic slide around as you're cutting. So I got a little wanky on that, but it's really like that. And if you start, like you just grab some, you start cutting, but it's better to use like the serrated one. Now here you could go, you don't want to go too crazy down here, because like once you get in here, then you're starting to weaken this, right? Now up here you can kind of get a little, you could go a little further this way if you want to. You got to watch, don't get too close to this up. So then what I'm also going to do is to experiment, because there's one right here. I really like this bait, the Riot's Little Fuzzy. And I noticed on its appendages, see how it's got the one, it's just on one side, but what's cool about it is if you look at it, it's got one on that side, but not on this side. But then when you flip it, so they're on opposite sides, if that makes sense. So it should get to flopping like, like a swim, not just they're both doing the same exact thing. They're going the opposite of each other. So that's what these these are just flappy, right? They're just like the Rage Menace, all them. They've got it on both sides. So what I'm going to, not on all of them, but I am going to cut a couple of them, you know, opposite ones off, and just to see, you know, what that action does. Now, all this testing will have to be done. I have to go back to the little old lady from Pasadena's pit, the real clear one, and just kind of watch them in the water. Or when I get to water, like some of these places I go, Charles Paradise and stuff, and just see if one swims better than the other to me, and then just have them on a couple different baits. And if one I just notice starts getting hit more than the others, I'll know what to do, right? And it doesn't really matter, I'll be honest. None of that probably matters. It's probably all a confidence and a color thing. Once you get, I do believe in, you know, colors make a difference, but sometimes just a little subtle kicking action change. It's basically something they've never seen, right? If you can get a little change in something that, you know, is erratic, sometimes that can be all the difference in the world. I'm just telling you. But the confidence that you did that is probably the biggest thing. So I've already made a mess on top of the mess I already had. So just to finish up here, I'm going to show you. Now, I know it looks a little ragged, but I mean, you kind of took these, and I guess that's why, I don't know if people just didn't know what to do with these or whatever, and I don't know, maybe Roger ordered a crazy amount over what he probably should have. I don't even know if Roger's still alive, but anyway. I don't even know if there ever was a Roger. So you can see this one has a lot more orange in it, which actually I like that. But these will work. The thing that, in the region, you're like, why are you messing with those? I thought you liked the Baby Rage Menace. I do. I love it. I wish they made ones that look just like this. They don't. The Baby Rage Menace, their crawl, whatever one, you go through, I don't know how many packs. Like whenever I come across them at a store, I'll look, and it's hard to find them that the orange carries out. You'll have a blotch of orange here or there, but then a lot of times all the tails, you know, appendages, tail, claws, whatever you call them, will look solid black. And it's like, that's not doing what I want. I want that, you know, orange. I would actually like them if they just had like a, you know, kind of, actually like this, just not real crazy orangey, but then on the ends, I want like quite a bit of orange. Like that's a more subtle, I mean, realistic, but like that's probably what'll get hit faster over that, but you just never know. And there's nothing wrong with having them separate. Like when you buy 24 packs, you can pull them all out and separate them out to the real bright ones and the real not so bright, and kind of know that, okay, if I'm going out and it's like, you know, overcast, you know, the just visibility's kind of lower, go with the brighter. If it's like bright day and you just want to add a little orange, then go with the, you know, I'm sure there's some in there that look more subtle. Let's just do a little test. Let's just pull some out. I know it's going back in, but we'll just pull a handful. Oh, they do stink. They're not as bad as other ones, but so like here's one. This dude is already flippity flopped. But yeah, so they've got just the right amount, in my opinion, on orange and not orange and that kind of thing. But yeah, the Baby Rage Menace, I would love it if they were more or less like this color. It's just their orange, whatever I can't remember the name of it now, but Bass Pro or wherever I was, I bought 1 or 2 packs. Let me see if I've got any left. That kind of had some orange, but I could never find again, and I just refused to buy them from Tackle Warehouse. And not, you know, sight unseen, and they come and they're just nasty. And I wouldn't want them. Well, hang on. Hang on. I don't think I have any more. I think I've put them on other stuff. Let me see. Well, here's one. And this one, I tracked it down. I threw it on this little jig just because I pulled it off another one because I only had a few left that were good. So here's what the way they are. They're just a darker, and this one came out perfect because it's got it right on the tips. Now see, that's really all I was wanting. But I don't know how many packs of Baby Rage Menace you would have to buy to get that. So, and it's a possibility. Some of these I may take and just cut. See how that's also a little more intense. I kind of like just a more orange. But yeah, I'd still look. Like if I go somewhere like Rogers, they don't have any more like this. I've already weeded them out. But anyway, you know, orange tips. And I know somebody's probably like, oh, you can get the orange whatever. And technically I know that, but, and I may at some point, but I figured I'd try these. Like I literally, just on these anyway, I spent $6 for 48 of these to cut and use. And they're actually, I may cut, like I said, I probably maybe cut them down just a hair, some of that off, so I'll just try them though. Like so far what I've seen, it looks like they let them jump around. Once you get them cut down like this, they pretty much do what these do. And they got a little flappy action when you're just kind of going along, but then when you twitch it, whatever, they still let that chatterbait jump around. And you can always use them on just little swim jig stuff and all that. So anyway, yeah. I gotta get out of here, go wash my hands, and my gosh, that stuff stinks. I guess their fish bite won't let go kind of thing too going for them, I guess. I'm going to throw these right back in that package where they were. I think these also had a scent. I'm not sure if the rodent... No, the rodents smell like nasty plastic. Those probably ought to pull them out and let them air out. I don't know. It's got like a smell, but I wouldn't call it good, fishy. Yeah, these kind of have a smell. I don't know. I never read boxes. Let's look. Let's see what they have. Okay. Big Bite Baits. Made in USA. Not for human consumption. Well, I should have told me that before I ate a couple last night. What is bite juice? I guess it's got something on it. I don't know. They don't stink as bad as what you call it. And then with coffee scent and salt, man, that's what they said. I don't know. I know the ones I'm smelling from those whatchamacallits have a stinkier smell than these did. Last night they were slimy. They definitely had like a slimy coat to them. But anyway. All right, guys. Hopefully you liked that video. I kept it. Look at that. We're under an hour. J Peace, what's up? Oh, you like that? So did you get the drag clicker in it? I gotta have drag clickers and everything now. Oh, good thing you brought up that. I was gonna end this without talking about it. Well, my hands are all nasty. Hang on, I got a little water here somewhere. Let me just at least let me at least wipe my hands with a little bit of water and dry them off on something because I had a little bit of stink. It won't go away completely, but I won't have that oily, nasty feel and whatever. So yeah. And I may grab a rod or two here. If you guys remember right, now I'm still probably going to be using this until this happens, but at some point, I'm probably going to break down and buy the reel that I guess several of you have actually recommended for the Poison Adrena. Unfortunately, up at Rogers Sporting Goods, they don't have any more of the old style Poison Adrenas. They got the new style, but they're slightly different. They're a little bit different, but they're really close enough. But what I did was I grabbed an actual, I think it was a Corrado. It has this exact reel seat. It's not soft touch or whatever. But anyway, I was up at Rogers before I bought all the baits and whatever, and I said, let me see your Metanium DC. And I put it on that Corrado and felt it, and I'm like, oh, wow. So, I think just because out of peer pressure, now I'm going to try this. I think this is awesome, but I don't know if I want to, I think the actual Metanium DC, I don't know that it would palm any better, but it probably goes, you know, and then I can use my steez for my other rod that it was kind of intended for. But what I'm probably going to do is order that Metanium, and Metanium DC at some point. I'm probably going to get one from Digitaka, but I've already got another set of knobs, or maybe these will go on it. So the Metanium DC will definitely get a drag clicker if and when I get it, and then these knobs on probably the oh, dude, I shouldn't have done that. Probably the silver handle, the ones we get. Because then it'll just have the black drag star, and then it's got the silver thing there on the Metanium DC. So, and then on this poison adrenaline. So anyway, I don't know if and when, but I've talked myself into getting one. But man, I've already been spending so much money. And rug burn is fixed, but rug burn's got to go through a trial period, or maybe ship down the road. I'll sell rug burn, buy a different vehicle, and I can't afford any more fishing rods or reels. Well, because I don't need any. So anyway, what is on the schedule when cost permits, unless you guys just want to send me money, like, then I'll do it for you guys. But I think I'm also going to go ahead when that point comes. I'm probably going to get I don't think I want to mess with the DC for this, but I'm thinking the shallow spool Metanium for this X Pride, because I can't really. Here's the thing. The only thing that I like on either of these two reels are my Steez, the Limiteds. The Steez Limiteds go right on, work, fill, everything's fine. But I'm like, I like those now. The shallow spools, I like them on my, I like them on these right here, like they're already on. I like those on my NRX Pluses. So I've only got 3. But I don't want to buy these anymore. I don't want to buy these just for the fact of, they're probably the best reel ever made. I'll be honest. But they need a drag clicker too. I think I still like these better than that the newest SVTW out, just for the fact I can still tweak on this. But I don't know. I've kind of been debating doing a couple things, putting these back on. Putting one of these back on the Poison Adrena, and then just buying a couple cheap reels to put on these NRX Pluses, the 802s, the Conquest and the 802. Anything to use 10 pound or less, you don't really need. Well, you guys remember the reel I'm talking about, the Arise. Not the Arise. Sorry, not the Arise. That's a good reel, but it didn't palm. I just can't make myself like the way they palm. But I thought about getting the Acuras, the Solo King Acuras, and putting on the 802s, because that is all I need. That reel, those reels are awesome. If you guys remember back when I had them, I think I sold all mine to Charles. I did them up against cast test against all the other big, like 15-pound test against the Steez, the Zillion, and all that. And although, yes, they're not as good as any of those reels, you can get them now for $35 to $40. And they are good reels that have drag clickers. And for 10-pound test or less, they get the job done. And they're very lightweight, compact, small, and they just flat out work. Are they going to last 5 years? I don't know, but for $35, who cares if they get 2 to 3, 4 years, and then you're ready to move on to something else anyway, you know what I'm saying? In between trying to figure out what reel you want to use instead of spending $500 for that crazy new Daiwa that doesn't even have boost. This thing that I haven't had an issue with it yet out casting, but they've done completely away with the zero adjuster. So what happens when one does come from the factory, or what happens when you buy, in my thought is, like, what happens when you buy an aftermarket spool? Because somebody's going to start making aftermarket spools for this reel. So what happens when I buy an aftermarket spool and I put it in, and this shaft is, just like, say it's a touch on the long side, right? I'm going to have to grind it down because there's no way to take out, to adjust for that tolerance difference? Or what's to say that, that they're just all, made. I mean, this one's fine because I bought it and I don't feel any wiggle. Maybe they've, the tolerances, that's how they've got it. There's no side-to-side play. It's just as free as you could get it. So it's all on you, dialing up the brakes to where you want them. The downside to this is the accidental backlash just by dropping, you squeeze the button and somebody hollers at you and you don't realize you're taking your thumb off. And it's like, you got your rod tip up a little bit, so it drops about 8-9 foot down. And if you guys know what I'm talking about, crazy backlash that can happen just because of that when you got a crazy loose spool tension. I like just that with the 16th ounce crankbait, or crankbait, 16th ounce crappie jig, just so it hits the ground from about 3 to 5 foot high, and the spool just maybe only rotates once. It's just enough to not let it just go crazy when a 1/2 ounce bait takes a 8-foot plunge into the water and you're not putting your thumb on it, kind of thing. Anyway, just one of those little added things with braid. It wipes all that issue out. If you're fishing with fluorocarbon and a reel that has no tension whatsoever on it, trust me, you could be picking out a backlash just because somebody went, hey, look at that, right when you were getting ready. You push the button, but before you reared back, and then you're looking, and then next thing you know, your thumb pressure's off. Trust me, I've done it. So anyway, guys, if you have any comments, drop them below. Would like to thank you guys for tagging along. If you have, thank you. If you haven't, always smash, just like they said it back in the YouTube early days, smash that like button. Subscribe to Bass and Bonsai if you haven't already. We're still like everybody else. Over 10,000 subscribers, but only like 150 to 200 on any given live stream or video I put out in the first week or whatever. And then only a very small percentage of that is actually you guys that are subscribed. So I don't even know where all the subscribers, I don't even know why they subscribed in the first place. And where are you? Where are you? You're out buying Booyah one knockers. I know what you're doing. That may be more like a crawdad sound than an actual one knocker or a hard knocker, or any of them that actually just rattle like crazy. These work too. All right, guys, I gotta go get something to eat, get my hands washed. Thanks for watching. Get out and go bass and bonsai, but whatever you do, make sure you have fun doing it.